Chapter 6, Mishnah 3. The end of the previous Mishnah taught that multiple stoves, kiras, formed by a series of stones arranged one alongside the other, are treated as separate stoves, and the tomb of one does not affect the other. Our Mishnah elaborates on this rule. If 3 stones were arranged in a row and made into 2 stoves, and one of the outer stones became tame because tuma, for example, a dead sheretz, entered the space between it and the middle stone, while the other one remained tahor, the law of the middle stone is as follows. The side of the middle stone that serves together with the tame stone to form the stove that becomes tame is tame, while the side of the middle stone that serves together with the tahor stone to form the stove that is still tahor is tahor. We divide the thickness of the middle stone. The half facing the tame stone is tame, the half facing the tahor stone is tahor. The Mishnah discusses the status of the middle stone when one of the 2 outer stones is removed. If the outer stone that was tahor was removed so that the tahor stove no longer exists, the middle stone becomes assigned completely to the tame stone, making it completely tame. Similarly, if the outer stone that was tame was removed so that the tame stove no longer exists, the middle stone becomes assigned completely to the tahor stone, making it completely tahor. The Mishnah has so far discussed the laws for a 3-stone, 2-stove arrangement in a case where only one of the stoves became tame. The Mishnah now teaches the law for a case in which both stoves became tame. If both of the outer stones became tame because the sheretz fell into each of the 2 stoves, the law of the middle stone is as follows. If the middle stone was large, i.e. very thick, so that there is room to balance a pot on both sides of it with space left over in between, he gives this stove enough of the middle stone to balance a pot on it on this side, and he gives that stove enough of the middle stone to balance a pot on it on that side, and both of those sections are tame, but the rest of the middle stone is tahor. But if the middle stone was small, less than the amount needed to balance 2 pots, it is entirely tame. The Mishnah continues discussing a case where both stoves were tame. It now discusses the law in a case where the middle stone is removed and the 2 outer ones remain in place. If the middle stone was removed, the law is as follows. If the gap between the 2 remaining stones is not too big, and a large cauldron can be balanced over the 2 outer stones, it is still tame, because the 2 tame stones that remain can still be used as a stove. However, if he then put the middle stone back in its place, it becomes tahor. Since the 2 outer stones have again become part of a 2-stove arrangement, and this new arrangement can no longer be used to balance a large cauldron, everything is tahor. This is because the original 2-stove arrangement ceased to exist when the middle stone was removed, and the extra wide stove that was left in its place has now been broken by the return of the middle stone. If he then spread clay on it, i.e. he reattached the middle stone to the ground with clay, it is like a new stove, and it is fit to become tame from now on. As soon as he heats it enough to cook a chicken egg on it, as is the rule for any new stove or oven.